Hello and welcome to odds on CONMEBOL qualifiers for the World Cup match day 10. Again, Leo Bachanian, we saw so many surprises. For instance, the first defeat of Colombia, again in the altitude of Bolivia.
Hello, Edu. Yes, again, these South American qualifiers, the CONMEBOL qualifiers, always giving you some headaches on your predictions. Yes, some surprises. Absolutely, this Bolivia's run is impressive. 4 wins in the last 5, 3 consecutive wins. The last one against Colombia and with 10 men, Edu.
Indeed, with 10 men the whole game, Brazil was able to win, finally suffering in Chile. Well, we are going to talk about every single team in South America. Remember, guys, to stay with us, press the like, subscribe, and now let's go on with the show. And chronologically, the first game is going to be in Colombia, in Barranquilla, Colombia, Chile. Imagine, Leo, from the altitude of El Alto in Bolivia to the beach, to the heat, to the humidity of the Caribbean in Barranquilla. First defeat for Colombia. Then there are people saying that the altitude is not important. Well, Leo, I think we can say it was important. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to understand how Colombia could lose that game playing against 10 men. Basically, the whole game and their record at home has been very good. They beat Argentina, they beat Brazil in the last 2 games, 4 wins and 1 draw. In the opposite side, we have Chile, desperate. It looks like it's going to be a miracle if they go to the World Cup.
Yes, and if you read the Chilean newspapers, they're already thinking in the World Cup 2030 because they do not believe Chile will qualify for 2026. With Colombia and the defeat in El Alto, Edu, yes, quite of mixed feelings because it's true. Well, first of all, their unbeaten run, which lasted almost 3 years ago, it came to an end. Yes, they played like more than 70 minutes with one more player after 𝐿𝐿𝐴 saw a red card. Actually, 𝐜𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐿𝐴, the Bolivian goalkeeper, Edu, that's why I'm saying mixed feelings, could have easily been the man of the match because he had like great saves to deny Colombia. But it's also true that the beginning of the game, the first 15 or up to the red card for Bolivia, the man of the match or the hero for Colombia up to that time, it was Camilo Vargas because he battered the Storm at the beginning of the match almost on his own. He finished the game having like 6 clear opportunities saved, and 5 of them came in the first quarter of the match. We saw some surprises in Lorenzo's lineup. I believe his selection was tailored specifically for the context of playing at 4,100 meters above the sea level because he used Cristian Borja as a left back, Wheeler Dita as one of his center back, and also Roger Martinez in attack. Actually, the Racing Club striker was the one who produced the red card when he was heading towards the Bolivian goal, and 𝐿𝐴 brought him down. The problem for Colombia at that time is that 𝐿𝐴 got sent off, yes, but Martinez got injured after he got kicked by 𝐿𝐴, so he needed to be replaced by John Córdoba. A different John Córdoba than the one we've seen in the Copa America. The one in the United States, he was clinical, he scored. The one we saw in El Alto was a different Córdoba. He had 2 clear chances to score, and he missed both of them. The second half was played in a little bit of a slow motion, most to Colombian favor, but slow motion up to Bolivian goal. I think Lorenzo read the game well in halftime because he introduced Richard Rios to have a little bit more control of the ball. He actually, Rios, he hit the post when the game was still 0-0, but then an erratic pass from the back from Dita, Bolivia scoring a beauty with before getting to the quarter of an hour in the second half. And after that, Colombia pushed. They had chances, as I said. 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 was one of the main players of this game. But at the end of the day, I think if there is something that summarized Colombia's game and Córdoba's game, it was like he was substituted as soon as in the second half. Something that Bielsa is used to do, like to replace someone who came on before. Well, that's what happened with him. With Chile, Edu, the reality should be completely different. Or with Chile, the reality should be completely different. They're going to have John Duran returning. We're going to have more changes, I guess, Davison Sanchez, Mojica, Lerma, Rios, all starting, I believe, in Barranquilla. If we saw Colombia suffering in the first 20 minutes, now we're going to see Chile for sure suffering a lot at the beginning of the match. A Chilean side, which perhaps the performance against Brazil was the best so far we have seen from them, but it was not enough. They conceded at the end of the first half, and they conceded then almost at the end of the game, at the 89th minute of the match when Luis Enrique scored for Brazil. By the time we talk in November, it's very likely, if things don't go well in Colombia, as I expect, we might be talking about a different manager and not Ricardo Gareca anymore. They're going to travel to Barranquilla without Carlos Palacios, one of the best strikers they have, because he said that he has some domestic problems. He left the squad, but yesterday he was in training in Colo-Colo and smiling. Even the captain, Maripam, he said he doesn't even know what's going on with Palacios. So that's Chile's moment as we speak. The favoritism clear for Colombia. Colombia to win is 1.47, so to take the odds higher up, maybe you could combine it with Colombia to score first, which pushes the odds closer to 2. I expect goals here, Edu. The last time these two sides they faced in Barranquilla was 3-1 for Colombia. So I will be looking at goals over 2.5, 2.32.
We have 5 big favorites in this match day, all playing at home, but still the odds are pretty good. If you are backing Colombia, it would be a massive surprise if the Cafeteros don't get all 3 points. And the next game is Paraguay-Venezuela. If we check the standings, probably this is the most interesting game because Venezuela right now 7th in playoff spots and Paraguay 8th. So if Paraguay win, they are gonna overtake Venezuela. I guess the point was positive against Argentina for Venezuela with Salomon Rondon scoring, but they are winless in the last 5 games away from home. Their numbers are not really good. And Paraguay also, Leo, could be very happy getting this draw against Ecuador. 3 games without conceding. So I guess Paraguay to win doesn't look that bad. Although, when was the last time Venezuela won away in the CONMEBOL qualifiers, right?
Yes, and they won in Asunción also on the road to Brazil, on the road to the World Cup in Russia. So they know how to win there. Yes, absolutely, they know how to do it in Asunción. The problem for them is like, and I think we spoke a little bit on the previous show. They have stagnated. They're like 5 games without a win, with 4 draws. I mean, they still living rent free of what they have done last year between September, October, and November 2023. But this is a big one. And to be honest, it did not have this Paraguay-Venezuela, did not have these neon lights back in September. But now they are separated for only 1 point and 1 position, as you said. For the Albirroja, the math are very clear and surprisingly clear, because a win could take them to automatic qualification spots, while a defeat for Venezuela could also mean to be out of playoff spots just above Peru and Chile. And not just that, if Peru wins on Tuesday, for which I believe they are rightly the favorites as the bookies are pointing, they could end match day 10 in the 5th position if Uruguay wins with Ecuador and Argentina wins against Bolivia. So this is a scenario was in no one's mind after the Copa America. They are pleased to have secured a draw in Quito, absolutely, a place where they have like a dismal history since 1982 with 7 defeats and 2 draws. So to come back with a point, it was good for them. Very little happened, especially in the first half in Quito, because Paraguay's proposal we knew how it was going to be, and then Ecuador lack of inventiveness created a cagey game. Paraguay reduced the spaces, waited for the opportunity to counterattack. They barely left their own half. They had a 23% possession, Paraguay, and they faced 15 shots, which you could say, okay, so that means that they were under a lot of pressure. But the reality is that Roberto Fernandez, the goalkeeper, was far from being the man of the match. And as you said, something very important for Paraguay, third consecutive clean sheet for them. And now on Tuesday, tomorrow, Alfaro is going to have at his disposal the return of Diego Gomez and Junior Alonso. Junior Alonso, the center back, did exceptionally well back in September, and Diego Gomez, who is the one who scored the winning goal against Brazil, against the Canarinha, he was absent on Tuesday because of accumulated yellow card. Diego Gomez, who was named actually this week, actually at the end of last week, Edu, as the best under 22 player in the MLS. Diego Gomez playing for Inter Miami. For Venezuela, as it was for Argentina, to play in a game with the conditions they have done it in Maturin, it's difficult maybe to draw heavy conclusions. The best for them, as you said, Edu, because you said they were happy, I guess, to take a point with Argentina, and I would have to agree with that. I think the best thing for them was not to leave the game empty-handed. The second half was better for Venezuela, Soteldo getting much more involved, the energy from 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏 in midfield, Yonder Cádiz alongside Rondon, as Batista has done in the Copa America. I'm curious to see if he's going to put Cádiz and Rondon from the beginning against Paraguay, trying to battle against the Paraguayan center backs. However, the reality for Venezuela at the moment is, as I said, they are living rent-free for what they have done last year. Do I see something happening like on the road to Brazil and the road to Russia when Venezuela took the 3 points in Asunción? I do not see that now, Edu. I think the momentum is for Paraguay, their defensive display, the return of Diego Gomez, playing at home. The advantage is for them to take it. It's a very close one, yes. A draw is having healthy odds, hovering around 3. A double chance for Venezuela even is around 1.80, which is not bad. The goal markets, of course, is pointing to the under, but for me, it's Paraguay to win. Odds of 2, Edu, here.
Well, imagine if we should check the under market. All the games played by Paraguay ended in under 2.5 goals. It pays only 1.47, and 7 out of 9 played by Venezuela also were under. Usually we don't see goal feast in the CONMEBOL qualifiers, but this should be an under, perhaps 1-2 goals maximum. Next game, Leo, also a funny one, Uruguay, Ecuador, both in spots to go to the World Cup, but there is a big controversy, as we spoke in our previous video, with Bielsa, and then Uruguay lost to Peru, playing a really bad game. No wins after the Copa America, no goals scored in the last 3 games, actually in the last 6 CONMEBOL qualifiers, both teams to score. No, was a good bet in Uruguay's games. Ecuador drew with Paraguay, beat Peru, also a classic of both teams to score. No, in the last 6 games. So, Leo, again, we shouldn't see a goal feast in this one.
No, absolutely. I wouldn't be pointing to goals over in the Centenario in Montevideo for this Uruguay Ecuador. The controversy is still there, maybe a little bit receding now, Edu. We finally heard from Bielsa. It was his turn to talk after everything that was said by Suarez. He said that, of course, all this situation has affected him, but he does not ignore what happened with the players. He knows his authority has been affected in some way, but the situation, he says, is not having an impact in the way himself, the staff, the players are preparing for the matches. And the response he got from the players in training since they got together for these 2 match days has been the same as always. That's what Bielsa told after the game with Peru. The assessment of Bielsa does not change the fact that there are 3 games without a winning and without scoring the qualifiers. Last time they celebrated a win after 90 minutes. That was the 1st of July when they won 1-0 against the United States in the Copa America in the group stage. In Lima, Bielsa had a chance to use Darwin Núñez despite him having only fulfilled 2 of his 5-match ban. That is because the Court of Arbitration of Port, surprisingly, to be honest, authorized him to play while they decide on an appeal on his ban. Now with Ecuador, we will see the return of 𝐿𝐭𝐴 Jiménez and Matías Oliveira, which is great news for Bielsa. And Uruguay, because in Lima, Bielsa had to improvise with Manuel Ugarte, a defensive central midfielder, and with Guillermo Varela, a right back, both of them as center backs in a line of 3. They had 2 players with good feet, of course, in midfield with Nico Fonseca and Fede Valverde, Nathan Nandes on the right, Max Araujo on the wing, plus Georgian de Arrascaeta behind Darwin Núñez and Cristian Oliveira. But the reality is that they could not create chances for Darwin, neither for Oliveira, the young striker who was replaced then at halftime. Darwin, even without having chances to score, he was the best man for Bielsa. And I know that usually we criticize, or at least I do, Darwin for the amount of chances he misses. But the reality is he's also a player who can cook and eat his own food, because he does not need sometimes his teammates to provide for him. He can do it on his own, regardless the content. That's why in Lima he was the best player for Uruguay. Yes, 3 games without scoring for Uruguay, but the firepower is always there for them to do it. I think now playing at home, they have a point to prove. The Centenario is going to talk, is going to speak, because the people in Uruguay is with Bielsa more than with the players, as the thing stands. So it's going to be very interesting. Players were very upset after the game with the Uruguayan press because they were being told, or they were being asked if they wanted Bielsa out. And the players were saying no, this is not the situation. We don't want him out. We just spoke of something that we would like to change, but we don't want this manager out. Actually, we are happy with him, or we are happy working with him. Fede Valverde repeat that after the game. So they have something to prove, and I won't underestimate the performance of Uruguay under the lights of how the players are being seen at the moment. Ecuador, away from Quito, has scored only one in only one of the last 4 games, Edu, in these qualifiers, and that was on the win against Bolivia. The rest has been 1-0 defeats against Argentina and against Brazil, and a draw with Venezuela. With Paraguay, the performance was almost a copycat of the one I've seen against Peru, dominating possession, but very little generated up front. They only look close to a score when striking from distance with Caicedo, with Ener Valencia, or with 𝗀𝗻 Estupiñán. Otherwise, very, very little. This Ecuador, now managed by Sebastian Becachese. Let's not forget anyway that Ecuador, without those 3 points deduction they suffer at the beginning or at the start of these qualifiers, without those 3 points deduction, they will be now above Brazil and level on points with Uruguay. But for me here, Edu, again, we said goal market is not something to go. Ecuador away from home is not scoring, is not producing good performances. At the moment, neither at home are producing good performances. So for me, Uruguay to win 1.7 in this Centenario encounter.
Okay, again, home team favorite, only 6 goals scored by Ecuador, only 4 goals conceded in all these CONMEBOL qualifiers. So again, a really low scoring team. And 2 more games, 2 big favorites playing at home, Argentina and Brazil. First in the Monumental, we are going to see Argentina, Bolivia. Last 2 games between these 2 teams ended in Argentina winning 3-0, both in Argentina and in Bolivia. In Venezuela, Otamendi scored the opener, even if we had on the pitch Leo Messi and and Julián Álvarez again together in the attacking line. Bolivia, Leo, as we said, super surprising, not only because they are winning at home, but remember that they also won their last away game just across the Andes in Chile.
And you said Otamendi, and it's weird to say that Otamendi is the Argentinian goal scorer in this competition, in these qualifiers, with 3 goals. Edu, who have said that coming on to match day, Otamendi was going to be the leading goal scorer for Argentina. I'm absolutely in awe with what Bolivia is doing at the moment. It's a different Bolivia than the one Argentina defeated easily 3-0 before Qatar, with the Messi hat trick that night in the Monumental. 3 consecutive wins out of 3 consecutive wins for them, for Bolivia. To win 4 out of the last 5 is massive. And we are going, Edu, into a trajectory where if Bolivia wins the remaining home matches, they will certainly be in the World Cup, regardless of what they do away. We are already heading into that after these 3 consecutive wins. They will be without question in midfield because the red card he saw against Colombia, but the eyes of the Bolivian fans will be on Ramiro Vaca, the number 10, and also Miguel Terceras, the one who scored that beauty against Colombia in El Alto, and he's one for the future. He's only 20 years old and playing for Santos in the Brasileirao. The win in Chile last month for Bolivia was their first win away in 31 years. That helps to explain why Bolivia to win has those 51 times return. For Argentina, Edu, I had to say that the one in Maturin, and again, a game that maybe should not have been played because the pitch was not in conditions to hold a World Cup qualifier after all the rain they suffer. They said on Tuesday was another unconvincing performance for Argentina on Thursday night, with Jerónimo Rulli being one of the best players alongside Pesela. Scaloni finished the match with 6 defenders, something that I have never seen before with him. We had Pesela, Otamendi, Leo Valverde, Molina, Montiel, and Tagliafico all together at the same time. Quite strange, to be honest. It's a shame that what happened with the pitch, because Scaloni, as a surprise, included Thiago Almada in the starting 11, and I was really looking forward to see how he was going to interact with Messi, because we had few minutes of them together before Qatar in a friendly against Honduras. Then we saw them few minutes again against Poland in the group stage in Qatar, and I had the feeling that they can speak the same footballing language, and was very interesting to see how they could link up, but the pitch did not allow to that, and then Almada was replaced at halftime. Not too many people have a big reference of Almada because he played for Vélez and he left to the MLS. Now he's playing in Botafogo, but I think Scaloni can find something there after Di Maria's departing, after Dybala almost not being able to play, more often than not being able to play because of injury. Maybe in Thiago Almada we find a socio for Messi. We'll see if Nico Paz is going to have the chance to play. Cuti Romero is returning for this match. Alexis McAllister did not play a single minute, but for sure he's going to start now against Bolivia. So the Asian handicap market, Edu, in here does not find value even on the -2 for Argentina. You need to be thinking -3 and above to find some value. For me, at the moment, to see Argentina maybe scoring 4 is not what the performances are telling us lately. But to take the odds closer to 2, I will go to Argentina to score in both half, plus Argentina to win 2-0. That takes the odds to 2.16. That could be Argentina scoring 1 in the first half, 1 in the second, for a 2-0 scoreline. But I don't see Argentina scoring, to be honest, 3, 4, or 5 in this one.
The classic Argentina to win 2-0 could be the good option. Of course, Argentina is that favorite that if you think Bolivia is not going to get thrashed, perhaps 2, 3-0, you can go for +2, +3 in the Asian handicap for Bolivia. And even if they lose by 2-3 goals margin, you still win your bet because Bolivia to win is 56. So it looks like other competitions odds playing a Copa del Rey. First team and a fourth tier team, really favorite Argentina. So it's difficult to find value. In the case of Brazil, Peru also, Brazil, the Verde Amarela really favorite, but still better odds if you want to back them. 1.24, a completely different team that we saw in the win finally 2-1 in Chile with Luis Enrique scoring that winner after conceding very early. Remember that even at home they are struggling. They weren't able to beat Venezuela. We are seeing a lot of under 2.5 goals in Brazil games. And as you said, Leo, finally Peru found the victory. First win against Uruguay with Araujo scoring the winner. Let's see if or did Brazil improve actually against Chile apart from the result?
To be honest, Edu, I was going to start with that. Not the most convincing victory for Brazil, but 3 points nevertheless for the Canarinha. 3 wins in 10 competitive fixtures is almost unheard for Brazil, but they needed that win, and this win brought them also a new nickname because we have the Verde Amarela, we have the Canarinha, and now instead of the 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲, we could also talk about the 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐻𝐻, since 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐬𝐿 and Luis Enrique, both Botafogo's players, they scored in Santiago. So now people in Brazil talk about the 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐻𝐻. That was a decision from 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 actually that was applauded in Brazil. The idea of bringing 2 players who are in form in the Brasileirão, who share the attack in the same team, to see if they can replicate that at the international level. Jesus started the match and Luis Enrique came on the second half, but almost 30 minutes together was enough to show their understanding. 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 was also clever, I believe, of taking out Paquetá at halftime, not only because it was not working or he was not having a good match, but because he saw a yellow card. He knew already that Paquetá won't be able to play against Peru because he accumulated 2 yellow cards. So why not just straight away to try to see something different? And that's what he's done. He took also André and Paquetá off at halftime. He brought Bruno Guimaraes and Gerson, and it's very likely they will start on Tuesday night. The third man in that midfield is going to be Rodrigo. So we are going to see an all-attack Brazil with Rodrigo in midfield, or maybe just having a double pivot with Guimaraes and Gerson, and then you're going to have Rodrigo, Rafinha, Savinho, and Igor Jesus. And if it's not Savinho, could be Luis Enrique or even Martinelli. One of the negatives with Brazil is that La Roja scored with a header in Santiago, and Brazil is suffering with aerial balls in the box so far, Edu. In this qualifier, 6 of the 9 goals they have conceded have come through that route. Strange, to be honest, for me, and also showing how different the dynamics are at the club level and international level, because Brazil is suffering with aerial balls, having Gabriel Magalhães, who is probably the best central defender when it comes to aerial duels in the Premier League and one of the best in the world, but his partnership with Marquinhos is not a guarantee so far for 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀. And Peru against Colombia and Uruguay score with a cross to the box, so something that for sure 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 needs to pay attention. I was surprised with Peru, or maybe not that surprised, because they managed to produce at least a similar performance to the one we saw against Colombia, also at home. What I did not expect was to see such a poor Uruguay. So both things combined to give the 3 points to Jorge Fossati's team for the first time on the road to 2026. In Lima, Fossati used a back 3 with 2 wing fullbacks positioned very high, like Andy Polo and Alexander Callens. Now in Brasilia, in the Mané Garrincha Arena, is more likely to become a back 5. Brazil, obviously the favorite here, Edu. It's true that they produce at home mostly goals under so far, just when at the debut against Bolivia, when they won 5-1, that was the only time where we could see goals over playing at home. I'm saying, of course, Brazil winning here. Brazil the favorite. Brazil to score in both half, odds of 2. That's my take here, Edu.
Well, this is it then. Again, 5 big favorites: Colombia, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, all playing at home in match day 10. Let's see if, again, we see many surprises, because in South America, you never know. Leo, tell me your safe bet.
Goals over 1.75 in Brazil, Peru, 1.30.
And the ACCA?
Colombia, Chile, goals over 2.5. Uruguay to win, Brazil to win. All this leaves me with an ACCA of 4.91.
Great, Leo. Thank you for your analysis.
My
Thanks,
pleasure.
everyone, for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.